Let's start with the mindset, because that's where everything begins right now. John Lynch went on the radio and said exactly what you'd expect him to say. This team is not looking past the Colts, not thinking about the Bears, not thinking about Seattle, not thinking about the playoffs, and definitely not thinking about Super Bowl dreams at Levi's Stadium. They're focused on one thing and one thing only, and that's Indianapolis. On the surface, that's the right message. The message every fan wants to hear this late in the season. But let's be real for a second. Just you and me. When you look around the NFC and you see what just happened, it's impossible not to notice that things have suddenly opened up in a big way for the 49ers. After the latest results around the league, the Niners control their own destiny. If they win out, they're sitting in the driver's seat, potentially as the #1 seed, with the road to the Super Bowl running through Levi's Stadium. Saying that out loud still feels wild given everything this team has dealt with, and it naturally raises a question I want you to think about right now. Do you really believe players and coaches completely block out the standings at this point? Yes or no? Drop your answer in the comments because I'm genuinely curious where you land. This team has been forced into a week-to-week survival mode all year. Injuries piled up early, leaders went down, and seasons like that usually fall apart. Instead, the 49ers adapted. That one-game-at-a-time mentality wasn't just a slogan. It was a necessity, and it might actually be their biggest advantage right now. While fans dream about seeding and playoff paths, this roster has been conditioned to focus on the next snap, the next drive, the next opponent. Still, human nature is human nature. Knowing a win can put you in the playoffs or earn home field advantage sits in the back of everyone's mind. That tension is what makes this moment so fascinating. Everything is still in front of them, but none of it matters if they slip up now. And that's where things get interesting, because the next opponent is not nearly as harmless as their recent record might suggest. Before we dive into that matchup, make sure you're subscribed and notifications are on. We're pushing toward 1,000 subscribers, and this final stretch will be packed with updates you don't want to miss. If this breakdown is clicking with you, hit like. It helps the channel more than you know. Up next, we need to talk about why the Colts are a much bigger problem than most people want to admit. When you look at the Colts on paper, it's easy to shrug them off. They've had a rough stretch, and national attention has drifted elsewhere, but that's precisely the kind of thinking that gets teams in trouble this late in the season. Indianapolis is still very much alive in the playoff hunt, and desperate teams are dangerous. The biggest issue starts with the run game. The 49ers have struggled to stop the run over the past few weeks, and now they're facing one of the best pure rushing attacks in football. Jonathan Taylor isn't just a good running back, he's the engine of that offense. He leads in carries, yards, and touchdowns, and he runs behind an offensive line that knows how to impose its will. The Colts want to control the clock, wear you down, and force you to play their style. That's not speculation. That's their identity. The uncomfortable reality is the numbers tell a worrying story. The Niners have been giving up chunk plays on the ground, struggling with missed tackles, and allowing yards after contact. That's a bad recipe when facing a back like Taylor, who gets stronger as the game goes on. So, let me ask you straight up. Do you think the 49ers can slow Jonathan Taylor down enough to win this one? Yes or no? Tell me in the comments, because this matchup might decide everything. It's not just the run game. Indy has enough weapons in the passing game to punish you if you overcommit. Receivers who win one-on-one matchups and a tight end who can make plays in the middle mean you can't cheat too much to stop the run without exposing yourself. And when the run game is working for them, the quarterback doesn't need to be flashy. If the Colts stay ahead of the chains, they dictate tempo and keep your offense on the sideline. That's why this feels like a crossroads. If the 49ers want to chase bigger goals, they have to survive this first test. No shortcuts, no looking ahead. If you're enjoying this matchup breakdown, hit like and stick around. Next, I'll dig into whether this defense can make the adjustments it needs for the stretch run. So now the question becomes not whether the defense has flaws, that's obvious, but whether it can do just enough. The 49ers don't need their defense to suddenly become a shutdown unit. That's unrealistic given injuries and depth issues. What they need is improvement, discipline, and timely stops. That's a much more achievable goal. A lot of this comes down to personnel and health. There are bodies working their way back, and even marginal upgrades can swing a close game. Getting a more physical presence in the middle, tightening linebacker play, and simply tackling better could change the entire feel of this unit. One of the most frustrating parts of the recent stretch hasn't been scheme. It's been missed tackles and poor angles, fundamentals that are correctable. And if there's one thing this coaching staff has shown, it's an ability to get players prepared when the margin for error is thin. The formula for this defense has been bend but don't break. And while it isn't pretty, it can work when paired with the right offensive output. They've been solid in the red zone, forcing field goals instead of giving up touchdowns. And that matters. If you can make opponents drive the field and hold them to 3, you're giving your offense a chance to win. But that formula collapses if you can't slow the run even a little. You don't have to shut it down, you just need to avoid getting gassed. So I'll ask you this, because opinions split here. Do you believe this defense can be good enough when it matters most? Or is it just too much to overcome? Drop your take in the comments. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's a great time. We're getting close to 1,000 subscribers, and every late-season injury update and playoff scenario is going to matter. This team has lived in survival mode all season. They've adjusted week to week, found ways to mask weaknesses, and leaned into what they still do well. That mindset doesn't disappear just because the stakes rise. It might be the reason they're still standing. And when you zoom out beyond just the 49ers, you start to see something even bigger. The entire league feels unstable right now, and that chaos could be exactly what keeps this season alive. If you've been watching the rest of the league closely, you can feel it. This season doesn't have one unstoppable team looming over everyone else. Night after night, games flip in ways nobody expects. Leads evaporate. Supposed contenders show cracks. That unpredictability changes the math for teams like the 49ers, because once you make the postseason, momentum and coaching can matter more than reputation. We've already seen big comebacks and teams surging back into relevance. The theme of the season is volatility. When the league looks like this, it opens the door for well-coached, battle-tested, mentally tough teams. That description still fits San Francisco, even with injuries and questions. Look around the conference. Every team has a flaw. Leaky secondaries, inconsistent offenses, or young quarterbacks who haven't been in these moments before. There's no juggernaut that feels unbeatable. The moment you realize that, the entire outlook changes. All the 49ers need is a ticket to the dance. From there, anything can happen. Which NFC team, if any, actually scares you right now? Is there a squad you truly don't want to see in January? Or does it feel wide open to you too? Tell me in the comments. And if you like these big picture breakdowns, hit that like button so I know to bring you more leveled with them. So hit 1,000 subscribers. The postseason is coming fast, and you don't want to miss what's next. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like. It really helps more fans find the conversation. Thanks for tuning in and sticking with this full breakdown. If you want more of these, matchup deep dives, injury updates, and playoff scenarios, let me know what you'd like me to cover next. Colts game keys, a Brock Purdy film session, or a deeper look at the run defense personnel. I'll be covering all of it here. Final quick poll for the room. Yes or no? Do you think the 49ers finish the regular season with the #1 seed if they win their next game? Vote in the comments and explain why if you feel like it. I read every comment, and your takes help shape future videos. All right, hit subscribe, help push us to 1,000. Smash that, like if you got value, and I'll see you for the next update.